Hey guys, how you doing? This is Cruz here, the owner of True Investors, where sellers profit first. But before all that, I want to go into 3 reasons why I personally think that buying anything in a 55 and over community is a horrible deal. And let me explain. I promise you after this video, you're going to understand and you will agree with me. And if you don't agree with me, I definitely want to know that right below. Also, if you are not following me, definitely follow Franklin Cruz or follow our YouTube channel or Facebook, wherever you're seeing it. And if you get some value out of this, press that like button. Here we go. So 3 reasons why I do not to buy in a 55 and over community. Here's a couple things. The very first thing I'm going to go over is this. Whenever you are moving into a 55 and over community, I know you're like, Franklin, why are you talking about this? You're not 55. I know I look good for 65 years old, but I'm not. So the main thing is I buy a lot of properties. Our company buys a lot of properties. Me and my wife, our small little business, we buy a ton of properties and where we're located, which is in Lakeland, Florida. And in Lakeland, I've done a ton of deals in Hillsborough as well. We get a lot of people calling us wanting to sell in a 55 and over community. So when they would call, I want to know more about it because they're constantly calling, hey, I need to sell my mobile home. I need to sell it. I need to sell it. Now we have a policy. Our protocol is we only purchase something with the land, period. We only purchase anything that actually the land is attached to it. And let me get my chalk right here. So the reason why I say that is whenever you're dealing with a mobile home in a 55 and over community, remember this right here, in this type of community, you do not own the land. So that's the very first thing I'm going to write down. You do not own. You don't own the land at all. Where's that in? I believe so, yes. So you do not own the land. So what happens is, because you do not own the land, whenever you purchase that property, that unit, you've got to think about it. You just pay 30, 40. I've even seen people pay $100,000 for their property. And then what happens is now they don't own the land underneath them. It's almost like, it's basically in the commercial world, it's called a land lease. So now they have this property that they just purchased, which more or less looks like this, and this, and this. And then underneath them, they don't own it. And the catch is, whenever you purchase this, it's not like you could take it away and move it, because you can't. You can't take away that property and just move it there. It's already stuck in. Why? Because you have the central AC, you have the plumbing piped in, you have all these different items. And to move a mobile home is extremely expensive. It's anywhere from $15,000 to $30,000. Ask me how I know that. Right? So now when you're dealing with this piece of property, remember, you don't own it at all. So the other thing, and I wrote down little notes right here. So the other thing is, when you're dealing, number 2, the reason why I don't purchase it is because it is you have unregulated fees. So when you're dealing with that, what I mean by this is you have this, what they call lot rent. Okay, so inside the lot rent, when you're dealing with lot rent, that can vary. So what I mean by that is it can vary. You could have bought in when you first initially bought it. And remember, 55 and over communities is normally where people want to retire. They're done. They're in a very fixed income. The property is hopefully in good condition. The community hopefully is in good condition. But remember, they are fixed in there. They are not leaving until God takes them home most of the time, especially here in Florida, right? That's what the old saying is, this is where people come and just die. But at the end of the day, it's like this is where they retire. This is what happens, right? So when you're dealing with this lot rent, you could start off at $250 the lot rent, right? But what they do is they will increase that lot rent little bit by little bit by little bit, until I've seen lot rents as high as $653 a month. I've seen the normal lot rent even over here in Polk County is anywhere from $300, and I've seen it as even $450 a month. So let me show you, what does that mean in real time. So what does a $450 a month lot rent do? Okay, which your only reason why you're even purchasing it for the lot rent, or you're in that community, is because you want the amenities, you want to have fun whenever you want, whatever. But let me tell you something, that's extremely expensive. Just think about this. If I gave you an extra $450 a month, Are you trying to tell me you can't have a ball in Orlando, or you can't go somewhere? If you just save up 2 months, you can fly anywhere in the country for $1,000. I've done this. You can fly anywhere in the country for 2 to 3 days, not Hawaii, 2 or 3 days with rental car, hotel, and everything for $1,000. The only place is not Hawaii. I've done it. I traveled to 38 different states in 18 months. And my budget, when I tracked everything, was always below $1,000. I could fly, sleep, eat, and do everything for 3 days, including a rental car for $1,000, period. That's $450. So $450, what does that equate to by 12? So now you got it by 10, so 4,500. So that's $5,000 a year. A year that you are spending on lot rent alone, not including you got your electricity bill, water bill, and everything else. So I want you to think about that. $5,500 a year you are spending on the land that you do not own. You only own this. So whenever somebody wants to sell it and they're like, oh, I'll sell it for $30,000, nobody's buying these mobile homes in these parks right now. Nobody. Go to Craigslist right now, go to Facebook Marketplace, go to the MLS, you will see item after item, and they are so weird when it comes to selling it as well. You sign disclaimers that you are not going to be able to sell it just with a traditional realtor. You have to sell it with a certified person for that community. So that community, and then whenever you sell it, here's the average commissions. This is like a little bonus I'm giving you right now. So here's bonus time, right? The average commissions that a lot of people don't even know about, the average commission to sell your property, not even the land, to sell your property, it ranges from 4 to 10%. I've seen it as high as that. That is normal because it's so cheap. It's $30,000, so a lot of realtors, they don't even want to spend time on it. So they've got to make something worth their time. And so when you think about these numbers, look at this, times this by 4 years, that's $22,000 that you will spend on lot rent. $22,000. And it's just lot rent. That's why I do not like 55 and over communities. And hopefully if you're watching this, you're getting educated on the 55 and over community, that you are not going to make the same mistake and actually go in it. It's a better investment not to do that, to save your money, buy a piece of land, put a mobile home on it, and live there, and it'll actually be cheaper and you'll be happier. You could even Uber anywhere you want to go for $450 a month. Do you know how many places you could Uber? That's ridiculous. I mean, at least you could Uber anywhere you want to go. You could use Instacart for your shopping. I mean, there's so many different things that you can actually do other than paying lot rent. Now, here's the other catch as well. In number 3, this is what it is. Number 3 is hedge funds are buying. And look, there's nothing wrong with making a profit. And I totally believe in that. And I am a business owner, but I do believe there is a right way to make a profit and there is a wrong way to make a profit. If you're making a profit and then you're reinvesting that to make the product better and more affordable for your consumers and having a better experience with your company and what they're doing, then you have every right to make a profit and to do the best that you can. Hedge funds do not think that way. I just want to be super clear with you. 99%, I know I have friends that are in hedge funds. They think one thing and one thing only, and that is profit. They do not have a product. They do not have a service. They do not have anything that they are benefiting the community or anything at all other than cash, and they want to make more of it, and that's it. Do I find that personally wrong? Me, personally, yes, I couldn't do that. I just couldn't sleep at night. That wouldn't work for me. I've actually got to benefit and help people. That's just the way my makeup is. I just want to help people, and that's it. And then at the same time, too, I have a family. I have dreams. I have other things I want to do with the income that God's allowed me to have. And so that's why I purchase all these properties, and that's why I actually pay people even more for their homes, because I know the numbers, and if I could pay it, I will. This is different. They will not do that. They're going to see your 450 and they're going to raise it and try to squeeze as much as possible until it totally hurts, until you can't be there anymore, until you're going to have to force yourself out of there. I've already seen them do it. You could look up the news articles. I'll even link some down below here. When it comes down to it, at the end of the day, when hedge funds are buying, what they do is all they care about is their cap rate. They will overpay and beat out anybody else to actually go in there, purchase that. And now what they're doing is just raising up that cap rate, meaning the lot rent, until you can't take it anymore, period. That will happen. It's already happening. It's going to happen even more. Just because at the end of the day, there's only so many 55 and over communities. And with that being said, they already know that's already there in place. That is an easy thing to actually purchase, to get better management in place, better paperwork in place. That's what they will do. They always buy in, get rid of the management, and then they start raising the rent as quickly as possible because they've got to make money on the investment that they just put in. Period. They're looking for a long term. So as long as they're making a good cap rate, and remember, their only obligation is not the community. Their obligation is to be as profitable as possible for their stockholders. So remember that when these three things, you've got one, you don't own the land. Number two, it's unregulated fees. It's going to keep on going up. Remember, it's privately held. Number three, hedge funds are buying. So just remember, before you even think about a 55 and over community, please don't do that at all. Do your best to educate yourself. Find out more things that you can possibly do when it comes down to, having your loved one or your grandmother, whoever you're helping. If you're watching this and you're just trying to get educated on it, do your homework. I would rather you actually spend the time and find a mobile home that's not that far from there. They're great mobile homes, or a tiny house or something like that you can own the land, and then set up that loved one that you're going to be there with and say, okay, if they need care, that's different. If they don't need care and they can take care of themselves, have them own their own. They don't need to do the landscaping. For $450 a month, they can hire a landscaper, Instacart with all their groceries. They can have an Uber or a Lyft. Worst case scenario, they don't even need car insurance. They don't need a car. For what? Why do you need a car? Just get a Lyft anywhere you want to go. You don't have to go grocery shopping. Go Instacart. Teach them that. Everybody knows the phone. Everybody knows the app. And at the end of the day, I want to go have some fun. Perfect. Call the Lyft. Go have some fun. So you can definitely do that. And remember, even if you have friends in another community, you're allowed to go visit those friends. So remember, own the land underneath you. When you are having a lot rent, do your best to get out of that scenario so you can actually be more in a driver's seat. So guys, hopefully you got something out of this. And what we're going to be doing is linking some things below, some articles. If you didn't see, if you don't have knowledge when it comes down to 55 and over communities, again, educate yourself. If you got something out of this, please leave a comment below. What did you get out of this video? And don't forget to smash that like button. Talk to you guys later. Franklin Cruz, I'm out. Bye.